Kael stood still on the edge of the battlefield. The air was heavy. Smoke covered the sky. Broken ships burned slowly on the ground. The smell of metal and death filled everything. He had seen war before. Many wars. But this was different. His hands were shaking. Not from pain, but from something new. Fear. He slowly looked down at the ground. Bodies were everywhere. Some were from his own kind. Some were from others. And some were human. Kael closed his eyes for a moment. He thought he understood war, he whispered in his mind, until he fought beside humans. Back arrow 2 weeks earlier. The Galactic Council hall was silent. Tall alien leaders sat in a perfect circle. Their glowing eyes watched the center of the room. Kael stood behind his commander, calm and proud. His species was known for strength, for discipline, for victory. They had never lost a war. Suddenly, the large doors opened. A new group entered. Humans. They walked in slowly. No fear. No hesitation. Just quiet confidence. Kael looked at them carefully. They looked weak. No thick armor. No glowing skin. No sharp claws. Just simple suits. Simple faces. One of the council leaders spoke. Humans of Earth, the voice echoed. You have been called because the war has grown beyond control. The room became tense. A massive enemy force had appeared from deep space. No one knew where they came from. They destroyed entire planets. Fast. Brutal. Silent. Even the strongest species were losing. Kael's commander stepped forward. We have already sent our best fleets, he said proudly. We will end this threat. Some leaders nodded, but others looked unsure. Then a human stepped forward. He was not big, not powerful looking, but his eyes were calm. We request permission to join the war, the human said. For a moment silence. Then laughter. Low at first. Then louder. Kael felt confused. Why were they laughing? One alien leader spoke, still smiling. You. Join the war, he said. This is not a place for weak species. Another added, your kind is new. You do not understand real war. More laughter filled the room. Kael also felt the same. Humans? Fighting this enemy? Impossible. But the human did not react. He did not get angry. He did not argue. He just stood there calm. Then he spoke again. We understand enough, he said quietly. And we are ready. Something about his voice. It made Kael uncomfortable. Warning the desperate call. The council leader raised his hand. Enough, he said. We are losing this war. The room went silent again. Our fleets are falling. Our worlds are burning. We need all help. Kael's commander did not like this. But even he stayed quiet. The leader looked at the humans. You may join the war, he said slowly. But understand this, you are responsible for your own survival. The human nodded. That is enough. No fear. No doubt. Just acceptance. Rocket before the battle. Days later, Kael stood inside a massive warship. His unit was assigned to fight alongside a human squad. He did not like it. Stay alert, his commander said. Humans are unpredictable. Kael nodded. As the ship moved toward the battlefield, he saw them. Humans. Sitting together. Talking. Some were laughing. Laughing. Before war. Kael felt confused again. How could they laugh now? Did they not understand what was coming? One human noticed Kael looking. He smiled. First battle with us? The human asked. Kael did not answer. The human continued. Don't worry. You'll be fine. Kael felt strange. Why was he comforting him? Kael was the experienced soldier. Not him. Crossed towards the first encounter. The alarm suddenly screamed. Enemy ships detected. The entire ship shook. Kael rushed to the battle station. Outside space was full of enemy ships. Dark. Silent. Moving fast. Too fast. Prepare for impact, someone shouted. Explosions started everywhere. Ships were destroyed in seconds. Kael focused. This was normal. This was war. But then, he saw something strange. Human ships. They were moving forward. Not back. Forward. Straight into danger. What are they doing? Kael shouted. No one answered. The human commander's voice came through the system. All units push forward. Push forward? That was suicide. Enemy fire became heavier. More ships exploded. Kael's heart started beating faster. This is madness, he thought. Fearful faced the moment that changed everything. Then it happened. An enemy blast hit a nearby ship. Kael watched as it started to fall apart. Inside that ship was a human squad. There is no escape, Kael said quietly. But suddenly, a smaller human ship broke formation. It moved fast, directly toward the damaged ship. No, Kael whispered. They can't save them. But the human ship did not stop. It reached the broken ship. Connected. And then, it stayed there, taking all the enemy fire, protecting the other ship. Kael's eyes widened. They are shielding them? More explosions. The small ship was breaking apart. But it did not move. It did not run. It just stayed. Until the other ship escaped. And then, the small ship was gone. Destroyed. Silence filled Kael's mind. Why would they do that? Why sacrifice themselves? For others? This was not strategy. This was something else. Something Kael did not understand. Fire the smile. The battle continued. Hard. Brutal. But humans kept moving forward. No fear. No hesitation. Even when injured, they kept fighting. Kael saw one human fall to the ground, wounded badly. But instead of stopping, he stood up again and charged forward, screaming, not in fear, but in determination. Kael felt something break inside him. This was not normal. This was not logical. This was terrifying. Then Kael saw a human soldier near him. The human looked at him and smiled. In the middle of chaos, in the middle of death, he smiled. Kael froze. That smile, Kael thought. It was not normal. High voltage ending hook suspense. The battle slowly ended. But the cost was heavy. Too heavy. Kael stood in silence, watching the remains of the battlefield. Humans had survived. But many were gone. And still, they did not look broken. They looked ready. Ready for the next fight. Kael took a deep breath. His voice was low. I came here thinking humans were weak. He paused. His eyes slowly moved across the battlefield. But I was wrong. A distant alarm suddenly echoed again. Another wave of enemy ships was coming. Stronger than before. Kael felt his heart race. But this time, it was not just fear. It was something else. Something dangerous. Something new. And as he looked at the humans preparing for battle again, he realized the truth. The real terror of war, he whispered softly, was not the enemy. His eyes locked on the humans. It was them. Kael did not sleep. He could not. The images from the last battle were still in his mind. Fire. Explosions. Screams. And humans. Always moving forward. Always fighting. Even when they should have stopped. He sat alone inside the warship, staring at the metal wall. Why do they fight like this? He whispered. No one answered. Warning the second wave. The alarm rang again. Louder this time. All units prepare for engagement. Kael stood up instantly. His body was ready. But his mind was not calm anymore. This time he felt something strange. Not fear of the enemy, but fear of what he might see again. Rocket into the dark again. The fleet moved forward. Space was silent. Too silent. Kael looked outside. Nothing. No enemy ships. No movement. This is wrong, he said quietly. Even his commander agreed. Stay sharp. They are hiding. Suddenly, dark shapes appeared. Hundreds of them. No warning. No sound. Just there. Enemy contact. The battle started instantly. Explosions everywhere. Ships falling apart. Chaos. Crosswords humans do not fall back. Kael followed his unit. They moved carefully. Strategically. Like trained soldiers. But the humans, they did not move back. They charged. Again. Straight into danger. Why? Kael shouted. One human soldier ran past him. Covered in blood. Still holding his weapon. Because if we stop, the human said, breathing hard, they will reach our homes. Then he ran forward again. Kael stood frozen. Homes? They were thinking about their homes. In the middle of war? Collision, the impossible defense. An enemy weapon fired. A massive beam of energy. It hit a transport ship. Inside that ship were civilians. Families. Non-soldiers. Kael saw it clearly. The ship was about to be destroyed. No one can save them, Kael said. But he was wrong. A group of human fighters changed direction instantly. They flew directly in front of the transport ship, blocking the attack. Move, Kael shouted. They will die. But the humans did not move. They held their position. The beam hit them. One by one, their ships exploded. But they did not move. Not even for a second. Until the transport ship escaped. Silence. Kael could not breathe. They knew, he said slowly. They knew they would die. His hands started shaking again. Fearful face, the fear grows. The battle became worse. Closer. More brutal. Kael fought hard. He destroyed enemy units. He followed orders. But everywhere he looked, humans were doing the impossible. One human lost his arm, but still kept fighting. Another was trapped under wreckage, but used his last energy to warn others. They did not stop. They did not run. They did not give up. Kael felt something deep inside him. Something breaking. This is not bravery, he thought. This is madness. Fire, the human called Elias. In the middle of the battle, Kael got separated. Enemy units surrounded him. His weapon was damaged. His armor was cracked. This is the end, Kael said quietly. The enemy moved closer. Dark. Silent. Deadly. Then, gunfire. Fast. Accurate. The enemy units fell one by one. Kael looked up. A human soldier stood there, breathing hard, injured, but still standing. My name is Elias, the human said. He offered his hand. Kael hesitated, then took it. Elias pulled him up. We move together, Elias said. Stay close. Kael nodded. For the first time, he followed a human. High voltage fighting side by side. They moved through the battlefield. Back to back. Fighting together. Kael noticed something. Elias did not fight like others. He protected. Every move he made was to keep Kael alive. Why? Kael asked during a short pause. Elias looked at him. Because you are my team, he said simply. Kael did not understand. Different species. Different worlds. And still. Team. Skull, the dark weapon. Suddenly, everything went quiet. Too quiet. Even the enemy stopped moving. Then, a massive object appeared in space. Larger than anything Kael had ever seen. Dark. Cold. Alive. What is that? Kael whispered. Elias looked at it. His face became serious. That, he said slowly, is something we have never seen before. The object started glowing. Energy built up around it. All units retreat, the command came. But it was too late. The weapon fired. A wave of destruction moved across space. Ships disappeared. Gone. In seconds. Kael felt pure fear. This was not war anymore. This was extinction. Face screaming in fear, the last stand. Kael and Elias were trapped. No escape. No cover. The wave was coming. Kael looked at Elias. This is the end, he said. Elias was quiet for a moment. Then, he smiled. That same smile. Calm. Fearless. No, Elias said softly. Not yet. He activated something on his suit. A signal. Other human ships responded. They moved toward them. Fast. What are they doing? Kael shouted. Elias did not answer. The ships formed a line. Between the weapon and the rest of the fleet. No, Kael whispered. They can't stop that. But the humans did not move. They stayed. Together. Facing the impossible. Fire, the true terror. The wave hit. Light covered everything. Explosions. Screams. Silence. Kael closed his eyes. This is death, he thought. But after a moment, he opened them. He was alive. The wave had weakened. Stopped enough to survive. He looked around. The human ships. Gone. All of them. They had taken the full force. To protect others. Kael fell to his knees. His voice broke. They chose this. Elias was still there. Barely alive. Injured badly. But breathing. Kael looked at him. Why? He asked. Elias smiled again. Weak but real. Because someone has to stand, he said. High voltage ending hook, stronger suspense. Rescue ships arrived. The battle was over. For now. But nothing felt like victory. Kael stood in silence, watching the empty space, where human ships once were. His voice was low. They are not normal. He looked at Elias being taken away. They are not soldiers. He paused. His eyes filled with something new. Fear. Respect. Confusion. They are something else. Far in the distance. The dark enemy weapons started to move again. Still active. Still alive. Stronger than before. Kael felt his heart race. And for the first time, he understood something terrifying. If this war continues, he whispered, I will have to become like them. His hands slowly tightened. Or I will die. Kael could not sleep again. Every night, images of humans in battle haunted him. Not the explosions. Not the screams. It was their courage. Their fearlessness. Their choice to stand when everything was against them. He walked through the corridors of the damaged warship. Everywhere was silence. Only the hum of the engines filled the air. He stopped near the viewing window. Space stretched endlessly. Stars glittered faintly, but none could hide the dark shadow of the enemy weapon looming nearby. Kael's mind replayed the moments of the last battle. Elias's smile. His calm face in the middle of chaos. The way he saved lives at the cost of his own safety. Kael whispered softly, "I fought beside them, and yet, I am still just a soldier. They are more." Warning the mission that changed everything. Days later, Kael's unit was sent on a reconnaissance mission. The order was simple. Scout the enemy's forward base and report any weaknesses. Kael walked with his squad. But inside he felt uneasy. He noticed humans moving ahead. Not retreating. Not cautious. They walked confidently, even with the enemy nearby. Kael tried to mimic them, but he felt clumsy. Hesitant. One human soldier noticed. "Kael, slow is not fear," the human said. "Hesitation kills faster than the enemy. Trust yourself, trust your choice to act." Kael frowned. He had never thought like this. Soldiers acted, they followed orders. They did not question courage. Collision, the unexpected attack. Suddenly the ground shook. These humans, they fought not for victory, but to protect others. He could not understand it, not logically. But he felt it, deep in his chest. Fear, yes. But also awe, respect, and something new. Flushed faced the moment that broke Kael. The squad reached a narrow canyon. Enemy drones cornered them. Kael's team froze. He was about to give the command to retreat. Then he saw Elias again. Elias ran forward. Alone. Kael shouted, "Stop. It's suicide." But Elias did not stop. He jumped into the enemy swarm. Bullets, energy blasts, fire everywhere. And yet he kept moving. Every step precise. Every move saving others. Kael realized something terrifying. He was not ready for this. Elias did not fight to kill. He fought to save. Kael's heart pounded. "This is not war as I know it," he whispered. Skull the human sacrifice. A huge blast hit near Kael. Debris flew everywhere. Kael was thrown to the ground. Pain. Blood. Fear. But above the chaos, he saw it. A human shielded a small alien child, standing in the middle of fire. The human's body took the full hit. He fell badly injured. Kael's mind screamed. Why would they do this? They don't even know them. Elias crawled to him. Bloodied, scratched, but still alive. Because someone has to, Elias said quietly. Kael could not argue. He wanted to. But he understood. The human had made a choice. Even in terror, they chose action. Courage. Humanity. High voltage, the turning point. The squad regrouped. Kael sat down, exhausted. Blood on his armor. Heart pounding. Elias placed a hand on his shoulder. You are with us now, he said. Kael felt uneasy. Us? I am not like you, he said quietly. Elias smiled faintly. Not yet. But you will be. Or you won't survive. Kael looked at his hands. Once they held weapons. Now they trembled. Not from fear, from understanding. He realized, fear was not weakness. Action in fear was strength. And humans, they had mastered it. Fire, the first human lesson. Kael spent days observing humans closely. He saw the little things. How they comforted the injured before themselves. How they took risks others avoided. How even when tired, they pushed forward. Kael attempted to copy them. He moved faster. He fought harder. He shielded others. But it was not easy. Every step required courage he had never used. And yet he felt alive. Something inside him changed. The fear he once knew became fuel. Fuel to protect. Fuel to act. Fuel to survive. Faced with open mouth, the enemy reveals its trap. Then came the news. The enemy had set a massive trap near a destroyed planet. Entire fleets were lured into a death zone. Kael's team was sent to investigate. As they arrived, the enemy weapon revealed itself. Bigger. Stronger. Deadlier than before. Kael froze. But humans did not. They immediately started organizing a defensive line. No hesitation. No doubt. No retreat. Kael's heart raced. Can I do this? He asked himself. Elias noticed. You already are, he said. Kael clenched his fists. The moment of truth had come. Collision, the choice. Enemy fire hit hard. Humans moved forward. Not back. Not sideways. Forward. Kael followed. Every instinct screamed to stay safe. To survive. But he remembered Elias's words. Fear kills faster than the enemy. Kael ran forward. He fired at enemy drones. protected his squad, took risks he never imagined. He felt something inside him break and rebuild. He was no longer the same Kael who had doubted humans. He was learning, transforming. Face screaming in fear, the human effect. The battle raged on. Humans lost many. Kael saw them fall. And yet others took their place. He realized the terrifying truth. Humans did not fight for themselves. They fought for others. They would do impossible things and survive because they chose to act when fear said stop. Kael felt fear differently now. Not paralyzing. Not weak. It was a tool. A warning. A motivator. High voltage ending hook for part 3. The squad survived the trap. But Kael was changed. He looked at the battlefield. Destroyed ships. Fallen comrades. Fire. Smoke. And he smiled faintly. Not because he was happy, but because he understood. They are not ordinary soldiers, he whispered. They are something else, something terrifyingly strong. Kael clenched his fists. And I will have to become like them, if I want to survive this war. Far above, the enemy weapon recharged. Waiting. Watching. Kael's eyes narrowed. I am ready, he said quietly. For what comes next? The enemy weapon loomed above the battlefield like a black star. Its energy pulsed, threatening to erase entire fleets in one devastating strike. Smoke and fire from earlier battles clouded the sky. The air smelled of ash and burning metal. Kael looked around. His unit was scattered. Humans and aliens alike were battered and bleeding. Yet, in the chaos, humans moved with an almost impossible calm. Their eyes, though tired, burned with purpose. They were not afraid of death. They were afraid of failing to protect others. Kael realized something he had never admitted before. They are not just strong, they are unstoppable. Warning, the final battle begins. Form defensive lines. Kael's commander shouted. Kael followed the humans forward, unsure if he could keep up. The enemy weapon unleashed a storm of energy blasts. Ships fell from the sky like shooting stars. Explosions ripped through the battlefield. Kael fired his weapon blindly, hoping to survive. But every time he looked at humans, he noticed the impossible. A human shielded 2 injured soldiers with his body, taking the full blast. Another human crawled through fire to retrieve a fallen alien soldier. Yet another human, missing a leg, kept fighting with unmatched precision, killing enemies faster than anyone else. Kael's mind screamed. These are not normal soldiers. This is something else. Collision, the ultimate sacrifice. As Kael advanced, he saw a massive enemy unit targeting the civilian transport ships. They will be destroyed in seconds. Kael shouted. Humans did not hesitate. They ran directly toward the enemy fire. One soldier, a young woman named Lyra, shouted to Kael. Cover the rear. We hold them here. Kael tried to protest, but she ran forward into the storm of bullets and energy blasts. Kael watched in horror as she took multiple hits. Her body fell, but she held the line long enough for the transport ships to escape. Kael's vision blurred. He had never seen courage like this. Sacrifice like this. Humans were willing to die to save others, without hesitation, without question. He understood now. Fear did not stop them. Pain did not stop them. Death did not stop them. Only their will and their humanity guided them. Face screaming in fear, Kael's transformation. Kael felt something inside him break. He had doubted humans. He had thought them weak. He had been afraid, not of the enemy, but of the humans themselves. Now he realized the terrifying truth. He was not afraid of them because they were strong. He was afraid because he was not like them, yet. He clenched his fists. His blood boiled. His heart raced. I have to be like them, or I die, he whispered. The next wave of enemy fighters approached. Kael didn't hesitate. He ran forward. He shielded a human soldier from an energy blast. He rescued an alien trapped under debris. He moved with precision, speed, and courage he never thought he had. Every move he made was fueled by one thought: protect others. Not himself. Protect others. For the first time, Kael felt alive in the middle of war. High voltage, the enemy's last trick. Suddenly, the enemy weapon shifted. Its energy grew unstable. Massive beams shot toward the fleet. Ships exploded instantly. Kael's squad scattered. Chaos engulfed them. Then he saw it. A massive group of human ships, already badly damaged, moved directly into the path of the weapon. Impossible! Kael shouted. He realized what they were doing. They were sacrificing everything to weaken the weapon. Even their own lives. Even now, with so much death surrounding them, the humans acted with purpose. With honor. with courage beyond comprehension. Kael could not look away. His fear transformed into admiration, into awe. Skull, the terrifying revelation. Kael fought beside Elias, who was bleeding but still moving with deadly precision. "Do you understand now?" Elias shouted over the roar of explosions. Kael nodded, his chest heaving. "They are not like us," Kael said. They are something more." Elias smiled faintly. "Yes. And now, you must become like us. Or you will not survive what is coming." Kael realized the truth. This was more than war. This was a test of humanity. Not strength. Not power. Not strategy. Courage. Sacrifice. Protection. The humans were terrifying because they could choose death, but chose life for others instead. Fire, the final push. Kael, Elias, and the surviving humans moved forward. The enemy weapon fired again. Explosions everywhere. Smoke, fire, screaming. Ships torn apart. Kael did not hesitate. He ran straight into the blast to save a fallen human soldier. Pain hit him like never before. He fell to his knees, blood pouring from his side. But he moved again, ignoring everything except the need to protect. Other humans joined him. They formed an unbreakable line, covering each other, covering Kael, covering the retreating fleet. Kael felt something terrifying. He was no longer afraid. He was exhilarated. Alive. He had become like them. Crying faced the cost of victory. The enemy weapon finally exploded. A shockwave ripped across the battlefield. Ships and debris flew everywhere. Kael opened his eyes. Smoke, fire, and silence. The surviving humans stood. Wounded. Broken. But unbowed. Kael looked around. The cost had been heavy. Many humans were gone. Many of his allies had fallen. And yet, humanity had survived. Kael fell to his knees, tears streaming down his face. They did this, he whispered. They chose to fight, even knowing the cost. Even knowing they might die. High voltage, the final truth. Kael stood slowly, looking at the battlefield. He saw humans helping aliens. Treating the wounded. Recovering bodies. Comforting those who cried. He realized the ultimate truth. Humans were not the strongest. They were not the fastest. They were not the most powerful. But they were the most terrifying force in the galaxy. Because they chose. Every single moment. They chose to act when others would flee. They chose to sacrifice when others would hide. They chose to fight for others, instead of themselves. And in that choice lay their true power. Kael clenched his fists, looking at the horizon. "I came here to fight with humans," he whispered. "But now, I understand. The terror of battle is not the enemy. The terror of battle is becoming human." Fire ending hook. The surviving humans prepared to move forward. The galaxy was not safe yet. The enemy was still out there. Waiting. Planning. Destroying. Kael walked beside Elias. His body ached. His mind raced. And yet he smiled faintly. He had learned the greatest lesson of all. Fear is not weakness. Courage is not absence of fear. Sacrifice is not loss. Humanity is the strongest weapon in the universe. Kael looked at the stars and whispered softly, "Let them come. I am ready for whatever comes next." The human soldiers moved forward, and Kael had become one of them.